You are tuned in to Tuesday with Terry, another episode of our podcast. I'm talking to you live from Austin, Texas, where the people are friendly, the barbecue is fantastic, and all the sunsets are picturesque. I mean, it's fantastic out here. Last time I talked a little bit about you, I was talking a little bit about people, and I was talking about if you wanted to change some things in your life, you had to change some things in your life, and I talked about maybe how to get better perspective. Today I want to talk about you're the president of your own life, and I want to talk to you about what that means to you personally. And it really, when we talk about building people and we talk about putting teams of people around, you can't start a fire with a wet match. You just can't do it. A mighty forest fire starts with a single spark, and the single spark really is you. So what I want to share with you this morning are some things that you can do to build a healthy self-image. And when that healthy self-image comes together, people are going to want to be around you. People are going to want to follow you. People are going to want to believe in what you believe and do what you do. So it starts with you. First thing I do want to share is how do you actually build a healthy self-image? And it starts with the simple things. You get up in the morning and you put your feet on the side of the bed and you get up and nobody in the morning has to wind me up and say, hey, Terry, come on, you got to get motivated. But you've got to find something in your life that motivates you. You got to find something that makes you want to get up. The purpose that you have for today, the purpose that you have for your life. You got to be able to go up to people, and you got to be part of the Smile Club. You got to smile at people, make eye contact with people, and greet them. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You've got to have some professional courtesy around yourself every single day. You got to believe in yourself, but that starts with doing things for yourself, getting up and getting your workout in today, getting up and getting dressed and pressed today, getting up and smiling and being part of the compliment club today. Give people compliments, being friendly. My dad, when I was growing up in a small town in Pennsylvania, my dad told me, if you want to make friends, you got to be friendly. And it reminds me of a story of a family that's moving from one city to another city. And as they drive into the new city, if you can only imagine, the car is packed full, the kids, the dog in the back seat, and they pull into a gas station. And the guy's filling up his car with gas, and he looks over and he sees the gas station attendant, and he says, hey, can you tell me a little bit about this town? He said, can you tell me a little bit about this city? And the gas station, being a very wise older gentleman, he said, well, first, he says, let me ask you about the city that you just came from. And the gentleman at the gas, filling his car up with gas, says, "Why, I got to tell you," he says, "that was we're so happy to get out of that city. We just didn't like our friends. We didn't have many friends, but we didn't care for our neighbors. They were always nosy in our business. The kids didn't get along with any folks at school. And I got to tell you, it was just time for us to get out of that town. It just wasn't working out for us." And the gas station attendant looked back at him and he said, "Well," he said, "you'll probably find this town to be very similar or much the same." Not too far after that gentleman had left, another car pulls in, very similar, another family moving into town, husband and wife in the front seat, kids in the back, dog in the back. The car looked very similar, and he too gets out and fills his car with gas. And as he's filling his car with gas, he looks at the gas station attendant and he says, "Hey," he says, "can you tell me a little bit about this town or this city that we're moving into?" And again, the gas station attendant had that same response. He said, "Why don't you tell me a little bit about the town you just came from?" And the response from this guy was much different. He said, "Boy," he said, "we really hated to leave that town." He said, we had our kids and we grew up in that town. We made great friends with our neighbors. Kids loved the school and we were always involved in the community. He said, "We made some of the best friends in our life in that town and we're going to miss our home." The gas station attendant looked at him and said, "You'll find this city to be very much the same." And so what does that story tell us? That story tells us that it starts with you. If you're a friendly person, you're probably going to make friends. If you're an outgoing person, you're probably going to get to know people. If you find things in your past has been a certain way, you're probably going to see those things as you go forward. But all of that starts with who you are as an individual and who you are as a person. Second thing I want to share with you is your beliefs. What do you really believe? A lot of times our belief are the limiting factors that hold us back in terms of moving on in our life or making changes in our life or getting to where we want. You've heard this 100 times before. If you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're probably right. I'll tell you the short story of the 4-minute mile. The expert said it couldn't be done. The expert said there's no way in the world that a man can run a mile faster than 4 minutes. As a matter of fact, the coaches got out there with the stopwatches and they said, man, we can get it down to 4:10 or 4:15, but we can just never break the 4-minute mile. The physicists and the folks that study bodies through air and motion, they said, well, there's too much surface area on the body and too much wind resistance. There's no way that a man could move his body through space that quickly and break the 4-minute mile. All kinds of supplements and studies and things have been done, and nobody could figure out a way to break the 4-minute mile, and everybody gave up on it and said it just cannot be done. And it wasn't until an English gentleman named Roger Bannister came along and he broke the 4-minute mile. They said, how did that feel? He said, I felt like I was going to die, but he broke the 4-minute mile. And here's what was interesting. It wasn't just a few months until after he had done it that another person and another person and another person did it. And today we know that college, high school athletes are breaking the 4-minute mile. And you say, Terry, why in the world is that happening today when for so long it couldn't happen? It is the belief that it can be done and that someone actually did it that allowed people to open up their minds and say it's possible. And I would ask you this question to yourself. Are you saying that to yourself? Are you looking at your life? Are you looking at your self-image? Are you looking at your job? Are you looking at your relationships in your life and saying it's possible? It can be better. I can improve it. And I would ask you this question. When you look at all of those things, are you looking in the mirror or are you looking out the window? Because when you look out the window, what happens is you're finger pointing and you're saying, well, it's John's fault. It's Mary's fault. It's his fault. It's my boss's fault. And, I got problems at home and the weather was bad and you make all kinds of excuses about why things can't happen. All I'm suggesting is when you look in the mirror, you start asking yourself the question, what is it that I can do to make things better? How can I create less friction amongst my coworkers? How can I create less friction in my relationships? How can I dissolve some of the problems that I'm having today? What is it that I need to do in order to be better? Remember, it's what you believe. I would also ask you what you're telling yourself. What are you telling yourself? What's the self-talk that you use? In every day, in every way, I get better and better. I can. I want to. Or are you telling yourself you have to? There's a big difference between wanting and having to do something, but it's really important of the self-dialogue, the inner dialogue that you have with yourself, and what are you telling yourself? I would tell you every one of you should be feeding your mind with the pure, the positive, the good stuff that's out there. Thank you so much for being on this Tuesday with Terry podcast, because hopefully I'm giving you some of the positive things that you need in your life in order to change your life. But you need to be out there listening to the good guys. You need to be out there listening, because when you have open space in your mind, many times what happens is it fills up with all the negative things that are going on in your life and how things aren't working and how you can't do it and how you can't make it happen. And I'm just telling you, you flood that or move good stuff into your brain, it does not allow for the bad stuff to fill your head. There's a lot of good success stories out there. You've heard them all. Oprah's got a great success story. Michael Jordan's got a great success story. Look at what's coming up here now in July and August, the Olympics, the Olympic moments. I mean, every Olympic. Go to look up some Olympic moments and hear what's happening. Listen to Les Brown, one of the great speakers out there, Joel Osteen. I mean, these guys are really feeding your mind with the good, the pure, and the positive. I'd also ask you to find out who you're associating with and who you're talking to. Who are your top 5 friends? And are they the folks that are cheering you on, trying to build you up? Or are they the folks that you're commiserating with and talking about all the bad things? And they say, well, if you think that's bad, let me tell you this. And they tell you their bad story. All I'm suggesting is you can't change the people around you, but you can change some of the people around you. Meaning that you can't change their attitudes, you can't change the way that they look at life, But when that happens, then many times you have to change the people that you're hanging out with, change your friends. Take a look at your happiness quotient. How happy are you on a scale of 1 to 5? Man, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm so just grateful to be here today. Is that you? Are you looking at life that way? Or are you looking at your life going, it's okay. It's not so good. It's average. Man, you got to be having quality time and quality life. How do you make that happen? What do you do? I'm telling you, it starts with a healthy self-image. And I would have just asked you to take a piece of paper out and write down 5 things that you're happy about today. Your kids make you happy. Your family makes you happy. Going out for an exercise and working out makes you happy. Spending time and calling a friend, having a friend call you, does that make you happy? What are the things where you get these moments in time that you can repeat that make you happy? I will tell you something that makes you happy or could make you happy is giving something to someone else. There's a phrase that goes like this: living is giving. What are you giving to other people? What are you helping other people that don't need your help? They don't necessarily have to pay you back. You don't get anything for it. But I'm telling you, one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing today is because I want to give back. I want to talk to people and try to help them along their path, whether they're having success in their life. Is there 1 or 2 things that they can pick up from this? Or if they're going through adversity, they're going through challenges, they find themselves in the valley, there's 1 or 2 things that can give them hope, can help inspire or motivate them to go on and get through the next 60 to 90 days. And I would ask you this question. So I know it's kind of corny and it's hard to do this, but close your eyes just for a second. And I want you to roll the videotape back in your life as far back as you want to. And I want you to think about somebody that in your life gave you a break. Who is the guy, the woman, the man, the boss, the friend, the relative, the aunt, the uncle that did something for you at a time in your life when they didn't have to, and they gave you that break? Can you think about that person? And how's that make you feel? And what I would tell you is take that same concept in your life today and look for somebody that you can help out. Look for somebody that you can give a break to. When you make it to the top of the mountain, the best thing we can do is turn around and reach down and grab the hand of the person behind us and pull them up to the top of that mountain with you. You have the ability to help other people. Find somebody today, think of somebody this week that you can give a break to. I'm telling you, it'll improve your self-image, and you, in fact, are the president of your own life.